So you want to have that effortless French girl chic vibe to your outfits, and you believe that that includes wearing scarves sometimes, and yet you have absolutely no idea what to do with a scarf. You don't know what kind to buy, you don't know where to buy them, you don't know how to tie them. I'm going to help you with that today. Scarves seem to be such a puzzling piece of a woman's wardrobe. So today I want to talk about how to make scarves work for you if you are curious about them and really want to be wearing scarves. I want to start by saying that if you have a collection of scarves in your wardrobe that are gathering dust and you are not wearing them, you are not alone. Almost all of my clients have a collection of scarves that they are not wearing. And usually they say to me, Kristen, I don't know how to wear a scarf. I don't know if they're still in. I don't know if I have the right kinds. Usually there's some understanding of which scarf to wear with which outfit, like the color and the pattern part isn't so difficult. It's really, how do I put the scarf on my body and not look ridiculous? Because we have this notion that this effortless French girl chic vibe is difficult to achieve. That when we just toss our scarf on, we don't actually look effortless. We look like we just tossed our scarf on. So today I want to help with that. I will start by saying, well, first I'll start by introducing myself. Hello, welcome to my channel. I am Kristen from Kristen Kane Style. If you're not familiar with me, I am a style and mindset coach. And you might say, what does that mean? Well, it means that I have over 20 years of experience in closets and fitting rooms, helping women create wardrobes and outfits they absolutely love wearing. And I also really, truly, fundamentally believe that what you think is actually creating the struggles you have in your wardrobe. That doesn't mean you might not need some new pieces. You might not need some understanding about how to put things together or about how to wear scarves. It means that the problem, the things that you get stuck on are actually starting in your mind. That the thoughts that you think are creating the wardrobe that you're wearing and or not wearing. And I help women understand the limiting beliefs and the repeating thoughts that are actually causing the problem, and then getting dressed becomes easy. And yes, once we identify the thoughts, I help them understand how to change their thinking so that they really, truly can make the changes in their wardrobe and get dressed and look like the effortless, chic French girl if they want to, without having the mindset drama that has been calling the shots for a very long time. Whether it's organizing and decluttering, whether it is shopping, whether it's packing for trips, whether it's getting dressed for special occasions or getting dressed on a daily basis, the struggles that you're having in your wardrobe, I can almost promise you are really, truly a result of what you're thinking. And my work with women one-on-one is to help them understand what they're thinking and learn how to think new thoughts and manage their mind around style and all things getting dressed. If you would like to work together, style therapy is how we do that. There is a link down below and it'll give you all the details. Okay, on to scarves. So I want to start by saying that at my core, I am always striving for the effortless French girl chic vibe to my outfits. That is kind of a style goals for me always. That effortless French girl chic just kind of makes it look easy. Kind of grab the pieces from a pile on the bedroom floor and put them on and wrap a scarf around her neck and off she goes looking phenomenal. That is truly at the core of pretty much everything I do in my own wardrobe. You don't have to want that, but for the sake of today's video, I want you to know going in that I wear scarves. I have always worn scarves. I really have not stopped wearing scarves for decades. I haven't looked back to see the first picture of me in a scarf, but I know that I wore scarves on my honeymoon 28 years ago, and I was wearing them well before that. So scarves have been a part of my wardrobe forever. I do not believe that they go out of style. I think certainly infinity scarves and rectangular scarves and little neckerchiefs and larger silk squares kind of come and go in vogue, if you come in and out of vogue, if you will. But I don't believe that there is ever a time when you can't wear a scarf. I will say just a side note of infinity scarves. You won't see infinity scarves in my wardrobe, primarily because they feel a little contrived to me. I'm not even honestly sure. I think I had one kind of wintry pink knit one that I used to wear. I don't mind tying a scarf. So to me, an infinity scarf isn't necessary because I kind of like the flexibility of being able to drape it and tie it in different ways. And yet I know that for a lot of women, they have a lot of infinity scarves in their closet and they're not exactly sure what to do with them because they're not really in right now, if there's a world of in and out, and they don't know what to do with them because it's kind of like a one-trick pony. That's it. It's kind of like a one-trick pony. The infinity scarf you can't really make look different. And so I like the flexibility and the variety that comes from different shapes of scarves that aren't stitched together. I will, just as a side note, and I think I mentioned this a long time ago in a video when I first learned of it, I had this amazing German client, and she lived in the US and her sister lived in Germany, and she would buy scarves. And then let's use this one as an example. She would buy scarves, and then she would, when she bought the scarf, she sewed and was able to do this as a seamstress. She would cut it in half and hem the side, that was raw, and she would send half to her sister. So then they each would have the same scarf without having to buy two, and they liked the thinner, variety. So it was easier for them to drape and use, and they just always looked. The sister came to visit once. I got to meet her. I got to hear this story. They always looked chic and fabulous. So I think that that's just a cool thing. If you have a sister or someone, a daughter or a best friend who loves scarves also, I think it's kind of cool to be able to split the scarf in half if sewing is something that's easy for you, or if you have a tailor who could do that simply. But I want to start today by saying that most of my scarves historically and currently are big rectangles. This one is a very big rectangle. You have likely seen me show this on here before because it goes with basically everything in my wardrobe. It is well taller than I am, and it is about, let's say, a little wider than probably 36 inches, wider than a US yard. And it drapes beautifully. I think one of the most important things to pay attention to with scarves is the drape, because a scarf that is stiffer and thicker and wider and longer then becomes more difficult. Think of it as if there's more to the scarf, it's going to be a little harder to wear. It's going to be more difficult to wear if there's more to the scarf, whether it's more texture, whether it's more color, whether it's more pattern, whether it's more weight, whether it's more width, more length. There's more bulk to it. It's more to deal with. So if you can have a scarf that is smaller, at least to start, smaller and much easier to drape, and even possibly solid or a really simple pattern, it's just going to be easier to wear. Where to get scarves. So I will tell you that my favorite way to buy scarves is on the street in Paris. I don't get to do that very often, but every time I am lucky enough to be in Paris, I buy scarves on the street. If I'm in another city where that is an option, I also buy scarves in other cities. It's just Paris seems to be the place where those pop-up folks are readily available, and they have piles and piles of scarves. The other beautiful thing about buying scarves when you travel is that they're packed flat and they're easy to pop in a suitcase, and they are an easy thing to bring home as a gift, although I have always struggled with making the decisions and being able to give them away, because I've been known to buy two of the exact same scarf if I loved it so much that I didn't want to give the other one away, that I didn't want to give it away. But usually my scarves are purchased thrifting. I absolutely have a large majority of my scarves are thrifted, or they are purchased when I travel, or when someone who knows me and loves me travels, because they will now, my daughter, this one, actually these two are from my daughter. Greta knows that I love scarves, and so when she travels, she will usually buy me a scarf. I'm very grateful for that. So let's talk about how to wear them. I want to just show a couple other shapes, and then I'm going to kind of start playing around with how to wear them. So this scarf is very old, from Uniqlo, and it's not really, it's so pleated. I guess by rights it's square. Like if I were to spread it out and it wasn't, automatically pleated, and I grabbed the corners, it is a square, but because the pleats are permanent, it just kind of always is this elongated little short shape. But it's a great little scarf to add interest. It adds a little bit of warmth. I mean, to be honest, it kind of keeps the wind from blowing around my neck, but it's just an easy one to tie tighter, easy one to tie looser. It is definitely a little more of a statement. I find that clients with these little neckerchiefs, it's either that is your vibe or it isn't. You put it on and you feel kind of like a flight attendant, and that's not the look you're going for. I find that they're a nice addition, especially because I don't wear a ton of jewelry. And so even with a simple necklace, I find that I can put a little neckerchief on and it works. And then like this one is a rectangle also. It's just much smaller. So it's longer actually. It's much longer actually than the one that has all the colors that I showed a moment ago, but it's not quite as wide. And it is 100% cashmere. Greta purchased this on a trip to Nepal, and the drape is incredible. Versus this one I thrifted, and it is incredible, but it is actually better kind of almost in the summer as a wrap if I'm going somewhere in a little sundress or in a little tank top, because it's a lot of fabric. You can see, it's quite long, and I realize you can't see the bottom, but trust me when I tell you that now it's touching the floor and it's way above my head. And it's wider than a foot, and it's kind of gauzy, bumpy, lumpy. And so it's just it's just thicker, where this one drapes really close and soft and nice against my neck. This one is soft physically to touch, but it's a lot more bulk. Like there's just a lot more to the sweater. So it's great in the winter if I am putting a coat on and I want to wear it as part of, an outdoor look, outerwear altogether. But to wear inside, it just feels like a lot of scarf. So you want to pay attention to, how do you want to wear your scarves? Are you an outdoor only, like you're just wearing these as outerwear to stay warm enough with your coat, and when you get inside, you're going to take it off and stuff it in the sleeve and not put it on again until you leave wherever you are? In which case, this kind of really thick, soft woven scarf is great, as are woven, more traditional kind of menswear wool scarves, as are knit scarves, chunky kind of sweater-like scarves. Great to wear with outerwear. Today, I'm talking more about scarves that you would wear if you're staying inside as part of your outfit. Here's another one I'll show, also thrifted, just to give you an idea of the difference. So this one, about almost a yard, not quite, and a little bit shorter, not quite as long as some of the others. So, but again, it folds in on itself. It drapes. The hand is really great. However you want to, whatever words make the most sense to you with regard to how the fabric just kind of piles up on top of itself. You want a really soft, easy fabric that mushes up nicely, for lack of a better word, unless you're going for something that's like a really smooth, possibly even shiny silk that would be a little bit dressier. Or I used to have kind of a wrap that was more taffeta on one side and kind of like a silk charmeuse on the other side. Beautiful and way dressier. And I could wrap it around my neck like this, but usually I just wore it over my shoulders. The next thing I'll mention before I start actually playing around with how to wear them, and you might be kind of disappointed because I'm pretty boring when it comes to how I wear them. I wear them usually in the exact same way, but I'm going to give you some options. I want to talk about storing scarves. So usually my scarves are hanging on this, I don't remember what it's called, but I'll put it in the description, this IKEA scarf loop. So it's just a whole bunch of loops. It hangs on a hook inside my closet. It actually had about maybe 3 more layers of hoops, but I decided that was too many and I just didn't need them all. So I just took a pair of scissors and cut them off. They still, I believe, have this at IKEA. I have had one of these in my wardrobe for many, many years now. I find them super functional. Aesthetically, I like the way they look. But on Amazon and in Bed Bath & Beyond and Target and Walmart and all the places, there are lots of clips and other kinds of rings that you can use to store scarves. When I worked at Anthropologie, the method we used when we were displaying scarves, for the most part, was we would fold the scarf in half and kind of hold it and then just twist it until it twisted up on itself, kind of like tie-dyeing, and then tuck the loose ends in where you had your fingers. And then they would all just sit in a basket or in some sort of a bin for sale. Because I'm always wearing mine pretty much mushed up around my neck, I don't find that this wrinkles the rayon or the wool or the cashmere scarves that I usually wear. That doesn't bother me. And this also, I'm kind of squishing it together and bunching it up when I put it through here. If you are more inclined to have them be very smooth, then folding is really the best way that I have found. In which case you could just fold them and keep them stacked in some sort of a bin in your closet. So that you have them readily available. You can kind of see them all without having to dig through a big pile, and they come out less wrinkly because they're folded more smoothly. I like to iron, and wrinkles kind of bug me sometimes, but I have not had any problem with scarves. And if I launder a scarf, I will wash it in a zippered bag when I launder a scarf, but I just don't do it often. I will wash it in a zippered bag, and then I will wash it on cold in my washing machine. Then I dry them flat, or I hang them over a plastic hanger so that they can just hang and dry. And then if they need to be ironed or steamed, I do that, but that is really once. I do it one time, and then when I launder them again, if it needs it, I do it again. But I try not to launder them too often because I find that if they get washed a bunch, sometimes they kind of lose their structure and they get a little too droopy. I have a couple favorite Paris scarves that has happened to. I have not parted with them because I love them so much that they're in a treasure box downstairs, but I'm not sure if I'll ever wear them again because they're just a little bit droopy. And then the last shape of scarf that I forgot to mention because I lost it under here is the silk square. So a silk square, they are often really readily available at thrift shops because they're was a large amount of time where they kind of went out of fashion, and yet they're having a moment again. So I have had this one quite a long time. This is Yves Saint Laurent from Neiman Marcus. It was a gift from my husband 30 years ago. I have not worn it as much as I should have because this shape of scarf kind of went out of style. I'll start with this one. To wear this one, I personally would fold it diagonally, and then I would roll it from the pointed side. Okay, let's try this again. Fold it diagonally, and I would roll it just easily, not precisely. I would roll it up from the folded side, and then I would put the folded part where it's loose on the back of my neck, and then I would tie the scarf just so that it stays. I have recently pinned a whole lot of combinations like this because I realized that I have a couple of these square silk scarves and I wanted to be wearing them. And something about tying it up higher on my neck felt a little bit dated and a little too fussy and mature. And I liked the vibe of having it be a little bit longer, hanging just kind of down, more as almost as a necklace, just kind of hanging a little bit more casual and easier than a silk scarf can sometimes feel. When I used to wear this silk scarf, it was more in style to wear it with the point kind of pointing down my back. It's not that I couldn't do that. It's just that right now, this is more the way I would wear this. I want to also mention that if you haven't watched any of my videos where I talk about Quince, I'm going to talk about Quince for a second. This video is not sponsored. This sweater is mine in my wardrobe, and it was a gift from Quince. I am partnering with Quince. I am a Quince partner. I am not an influencer, but I am always going to share things that I love, and Quince Cashmere is something that I love. So there's a link down below if you want to check out this great Mongolian Cashmere Fisherman knit cropped cardigan. I own it in a couple colors. I wear it all the time. I genuinely love it. So if you're not familiar with Quince and you live in the US, I will say that currently they do not ship outside of the US. I believe they are working on that because there are lots of people around the world who would like Quince. But I want to mention it because I will probably get asked and it's one of my favorites. So I would wear it like this. I could also take the same start and make one side a little longer so that I can wrap this all the way, so that I can wrap this piece kind of all the way around and then almost tie it so that it's like acts as a turtleneck kind of thing. And I could put this on, I could wear it exactly like this, but I could also put it on, let's pretend this is a crew neck. I could also put it on with a sweater that was a crew neck sweater and just have this be some interest up around my neck instead of just having my t-shirt poke out, which is great, but this is just adds a little more detail. Okay, now I'm gonna start with this plain gray one just to hopefully make it visually a little bit easier to show you. 9 times out of 10, when I'm wearing a scarf, this is how I'm wearing it. I start with one end, and I kind of bunch it all together so that the end is pretty even. I don't have just one point. I have pretty much the whole end. And I take that and I put it around my neck so that I have a little bit hanging and then I have a lot hanging on the other side. And I wrap it around once and I let some drape so that both ends are about the same. And then I tie this part in a knot. And then I zhuzh, as they used to say. I don't know if anyone still says zhuzh, but I think probably you know what I mean. I play with it and I just a little bit, I think the thing about scarves and the women who I work with is they have it in their mind. Again, this is where the mindset comes in. They have it in their mind that it looks wrong, that there's a right way to do it and a wrong way to do it. And they're doing it wrong and therefore they can't wear a scarf. They don't have the skill and they don't have the technique down. And I think the technique comes from just doing it. Like anything, it's a practice. If you want to wear scarves, just start wearing scarves and you will pretty quickly land on the way that you like them the best. There is no right or wrong way, and you could do it. I mean, there are scarf videos that will give you probably 50 different ways to wear the same scarf. That is not this video. I am just giving you the nudge that if you have some scarves in your closet and you really want to be wearing them, it doesn't have to be as complicated as you've maybe been making it. So, super simple. To make this different, I could put one piece over my shoulder. I haven't changed anything. This is not anything super involved and complex. I have literally just shifted where the loop is, where the knot is, so that one piece is over my shoulder and one piece is down in the front. So then I want to show something else. So you can take one end of the scarf. So you're going to take a point of the scarf and you're going to do the same thing. So you're going to take the scarf and put the pointy end down, and then you're going to wrap it around. And you'll notice you have a pointy end at this end now because you've kind of changed the balance of the scarf. And then when you knot them together. You can put the other point kind of out on your shoulder. Oops. Okay. You can allow the other point to it just naturally does this. This is not something that I had to work to do. The little bit of a point will be kind of out on your shoulder or on your chest, and you just tie the two ends together the same way, but now you have pointier pieces instead of the straight piece across the bottom. You've just changed the way that you've manipulated it when you very first put it on. You've held one point instead of holding it straight and bunching it together like I did in the first one. And then I'm going to show you probably the trickiest way that I would wear a scarf, which I don't do very often, but because I know how to do it, but actually I'm going to start with an easier one. So fold it in half, put your neck inside, loop the two pieces through, and wear it just like that. Super simple. A little bit longer. You can make one end a little bit longer than the other, again, for some kind of added interest. You can make this up around your neck as loose or as tight as you want to. Super simple. The next thing you can do is essentially the same. So you're going to take these two pieces, you're going to put them around your neck, and then you're going to take one piece through here. Yep. You're going to take one piece through, and you're going to twist this, and you're going to put the other piece through. And this ends up looking a little bit braided. I'll do it again in just a second. It is, I promise you, so much easier that if it were complicated, I wouldn't be doing it, because you probably, if you've watched any of my other videos, you know that I am all about simplicity. So if it were difficult to create something different with my scarves, I probably wouldn't do it. I do wear it like this sometimes. The benefit of something like this, where it's kind of braided, is that you really don't risk it moving. When you just wrap it around your neck and kind of loop it gently, if you're moving around or if it's really windy or, kind of you're doing things in and out, then it can come untied or it can kind of move around or tighten or loosen. When it's kind of woven this way, it really stays pretty flat and put. Like, it doesn't move on your body really when you're moving. So it makes it a little bit easier to kind of set it and forget about it, which is one of the reasons infinity scarves were so popular, because you just wrap it around and you're done. You don't have to worry about what to do with the ends. So I'm going to show this one more time, if I can figure it out one more time. So you're going to take the long scarf and you're just going to fold it in half. Super simple. And then you're going to take the whole thing and put it around your neck. And then you're going to take one piece and loop it through the loop. And then you're going to twist the loop. So I've just twisted the loop. Then you're going to put the other piece through the loop. And then you're going to play with it a little bit. And again, you can wear it as tight up on your neck as you want, or as low down with, as much breathing room kind of around your neck as you want. And it just allows you to not have to fuss with the knot. Once it's on, it's pretty much done. And that kind of woven variety works with any rectangular scarf, whether it's patterned or whether it's solid. And scarves of different textures obviously will perform a little bit differently. So this one is a little bit wider and it's not cashmere, it's rayon. So it just hangs a little bit differently. One piece through the loop, then you're going to twist the loop, and then you're going to put the other piece through. So it might not be quite as easy to see the braiding on this patterned one because the pattern kind of gets in the way, but it's the exact same deal. It feels a little thicker on my body because the scarf is thicker, but it still works. It would keep me super warm. I can do the same thing if I want to. I can put one piece over my shoulder and just kind of turn the knot so that it's more against the side of my neck. Again, just to add interest. But all you really ever have to do is wrap it around your neck and loop it and go. Like this. Oh, I'm going to show you with this one how it works when you have the pointy end, because this one's wider. So I'm going to grab one end. Instead of grabbing the whole scarf across the top like this, I'm just going to grab one end. And I'm going to take that one end and I'm going to take that one end and I'm going to put it around my neck like this. And then I'm going to take the other end. Again, I have the point now at this end, just because I put the point at one end, it does it at both. And then I'm going to tie these two together. And then this pointed end is not part of the loop. It's not one big tube, one big rectangle. I now have the interest of having the pointed piece hang out on my shoulder. I can tie this in a knot if I want to, twice so that it really doesn't come untied. And I have the interest of the point here, or I can get rid of the point and tuck it underneath. There really is no wrong way to do this. That's the thing I want to stress the most. You want it to be soft against your body. You want it to be kind of crushable and drapeable so that it hangs nicely and it doesn't feel like you have this big giant collar on, with whatever you're wearing. But there really isn't a wrong way to do it. I promise you. You're just going to take the fabric, wrap it around your neck, loop it, play with it a little bit, and you're done. I would love to know in the comments, are you a scarf wearer? Do you wish you were a scarf wearer? What's the struggle you find most when going to wear scarves? If you have a scarf connection of where you find great scarves, I'm all ears. That's all I have for you today. I hope that was helpful and that it inspired you to go grab your scarves and start playing around with them. You can't mess it up. There is no right or wrong way. You've got this. And if you're not already following me on Instagram, I am at Kristen Kane Style over there. Come join me. If you're not on my email list, get on my email list. There's a link right down below. And if you would like to work together one-on-one inside Style Therapy, I would love that. There is a link down below for all the details. And if you have any questions, there is a link to reach out to me so that we can chat. And if you want to keep learning more about scarves, I think I have a scarf video in the archives. I will try to dig it up and I will drop it right here so that you can watch more about wearing scarves. Thanks so much for being here. New video out next Friday. I hope you have a beautiful week.